Okay, I think maybe you want to skip ahead. No, no, I'm going to skip ahead with myself. I'm just going to leave. I remember they're here. We're going to gather all the information. I'm going to write it down so that I remember that they're right in front of me. So screws left in place, and then this sort of thing that obviously they didn't care about these anymore. Because there's another one. Where's the other one? There. And there's one. Hold on. Explosion with the rails on. No. There's all kinds of shit on that now. I just don't understand. This looks like it's been abandoned for, ages. Or then the miners just don't give a fuck about anything. But, yeah, so they were leaving. Well, that's a hint. They weren't coming back. When they left here, they probably weren't coming back anymore. Because they left this here. So, we're coming back to mine. So my thinking doesn't work when I'm sort of playing and speaking at the same time. So I need to sort of digest this a little bit more because I didn't realize this last time. So they left. They probably didn't need the rails anymore after this. So which way would you do it? Would you first get rid of the train and then the rails? The other place needed sort of cleaning up as well, I guess, because that was a station and people were going to come there, and they bribed the station master there. Why would they bribe him? So that they could remove the rails and make him say that the train arrived when it actually didn't. So which would you do first? And also, let's go to the final location, because there's something there that you need to see. And it's here. What is Sherlock reading? Train stuff.
Here we are at the beach that is located near the quarry and Doncaster station. It doesn't look like a very good place to rest.
Yeah, so it's not like a beach.
These traces were made by carriage. Look.
So a heavy carriage.
The distance between the tracks is about 6 feet 7 inches. The vehicle pressed this stone into the ground. It would have been quite heavy. The vehicle would have been heavy, as these tracks are quite deep. These traces are relatively fresh and were made by a large truck loaded with materials.
So a truck. So I don't know whether he's talking about an actual truck, because it's 1895, or if it's a carriage. But let's look around a little bit. So these tracks are wider, a lot wider than the small ones that we could see before. Also, there are tracks for a smaller carriage here as well. So that means that they had Because I'm trying to work out the logistics of this operation here. So they took the warehouse, like the entire warehouse, and brought it here. So this is really old.
An advertisement for lake cruises. An abandoned gypsy caravan.
Blood, a boot. Fire that's still burning. So that is north. Well, that's north.
This place was abandoned fairly recently.
Indeed.
Observing the coastline and the moored boats, we are able to see that the lake's water level dropped. The lake has flooded the quarry. The dam was probably breached.
Again, dam was breached, probably with explosives, so we can assume that explosives, or the gang, the Mexicans, had explosives. And I am assuming that the Mexicans did all of this. So there's a metal plate there. Just sort of trying to look. The water line is about somewhere around here. And can't see that much from this place, but we're sort of looking down directly at Doncaster. So they came here, and we're going to assume they had boats. That would make this accessible. This, not so much. They would get a boat all the way over here, so they needed to go here. And I'm still wondering, why did they need to fake this whole thing? Because it was sort of clear that they tried to hide the fact that they had faked it. If the train never arrived, this doesn't stop them from investigating things, really. And these are both unsure. This is the beach, so I'm probably looking this way rather. I don't think that's gonna, it's not useful, but trying. Clothes. Guess they look fairly old. Let me do that before I forget, because there's one thing I know that I think I forgot somewhere else as well, because I was... Las Zarpas.
A label with the name Las Zarpas.
Refuge on the beach. A bottle there, but I don't think that means much. So, logistics. They took the warehouse. We don't know why. They came here. They dropped the warehouse off. It's not here anymore. The truck stops over there. They would have needed, if they have boats and the boat is not here anymore, they could have sunk it. Probably that's what I would do. That's what I would do. Probably just sink the boat. And then what? Start sailing the seven seas. Okay, I'll go to Evesham because I think I might have, no, wait a minute. I probably missed something over here because I know that we can know more about the warehouse, and that means that, oh, we're probably missing neurons. We haven't done that in ages, so we've just been collecting evidence. Oh, there he is. I remember he was here, mixing up the stations. So I'll just go have a quick look around here and see if there's anything else that'll sort of give us any ideas. Then we'll look at the neurons, because that might actually give us some proper information. These, oh, hold up. The rails going in there are missing. There's one pair of those attachers there. This one remains, but it doesn't really lead anywhere. Oh, there is something here. Let me try to find it. Well, obviously this whole place is sort of interesting, but I can't really see anything. Is it this? It's not really. I don't see anything, so let's see. Or then I've already done it. Or then it's like the whole just, oh, there, multiple traces. Oh, right. Wheel traces. Heavy vehicle traces. So it says multiple traces, so there's other stuff in here too.
Traces. Let's take a closer look. The distance between the tracks is about 6 feet 7 inches. The vehicle would have been heavy, as these tracks are quite deep. These traces are relatively fresh and were made by a large truck loaded with materials. The traces found at the disassembled shed near Evesham and at the lake were from the same vehicle.
Indeed. Was there something else? Or no, it was the neurons. Right, so we missed this. But we already knew that. I knew that in my head, that these are the same tracks, although Sherlock just proved it, which is, you know, pretty solid thinking that cases go to court in the modern civilized world. So I'll try and talk to him now, and if I don't get any more dialogue options, then I will do some neurons, blast them.
It appears that there was a small warehouse near your station, and that it was disassembled. Why is that?
It was burgled overnight about 2 weeks ago. The police have already started their investigation, but I doubt that they'll find anything.
What was inside the warehouse?
Nothing of value. A few 100 feet of standby rails and some spare railway parts. But it wouldn't be easy to steal all of that. Why would anyone want to?
See you later, my good man.
I'm just even more confused now. Because they already had rails, so why mess around with the other rails? Maybe I'm focusing on completely irrelevant things, but there's so much here. I think I visited all areas, so now I probably need the neurons, and then I need then I will have more options from them possibly. So let's have a look. Jesus Christ, there's a lot. Chesterfield Master is untrustworthy, definitely. Chesterfield Master is the drunk master. 3,000. Flooded quarry and mines were blasted. I think, no, okay, no, I should explain what I'm, oh, Jesus Christ, stop. These buttons are really counterintuitive here. So, the mines are blasted and the quarry is flooded. I was thinking explosives. Rails to mines are missing. Stolen rail tracks. Spare parts of a hand car. Train vanished with people. No. Mexicans versus Chileans. Okay, there's a lot of stuff here, and it's really hard to read because they're all sort of jumbled up. But so the rails to the mines are missing. Stolen rail track. I don't think that has anything to do with it. It does. Somebody stole the rails to temporarily cover the missing section of the railway into the mines. Or was it the other way around? No, give me more neurons. Stolen train track and then the... this one. Right. Right, so I don't know. Like I can't really prove either because both the rails are gone. The only difference is that the screws were left in the mine. And I'm not entirely sure what that means, and I need to think about that. Chilean staying on the train and train vanishing with people. Oh, shit. The Chilean stay on the train was just a coincidence. The train conductor overlooked them. The directors of the Chilean Barcazas company were intentionally left on the train. The controller removed all passengers from the train except for the Chileans. Now, it could always be this, but they planned this so meticulously in a sense that I don't, well, did they? Because everything's so fucked up. But I would imagine they didn't miss these guys. The only reason I think this for a little bit is because the rich guy, he was lured off, or then he came off without him being forced off. And this also assume, well, we can actually, because all the other passengers were forced off, we can assume that the Mexicans care about other people. So they wouldn't have overlooked the train. There wouldn't be, there's like a million different reasons why, there's a million different reasons. One thing that just popped into my mind is if you want to get rid of people, are you going to lock them in a mine with what seems like a doorway out of the mine, or are you going to drive them into the sea? The directors of the Chilean Barcazas company were intentionally left on the train. The controller removed all passengers from the train except for the Chilean. So, I mean, this one makes more sense because they even lured a guy from first class, I would imagine first class, away from the train. So they didn't really overlook it. Oh, actually, yeah, this makes sense. So they kick some other people out from a cart that is not even connected to the first class cart. So they don't want the Chileans in the first class to realize what's going on, so they lure the only other first class passenger out. Now that makes sense. Okay, here we have something. And unless I'm being completely fucking idiotic again, we have something. So put Gen Pop out of train, and then lure person from first class equals premeditation for sure, and that they did not overlook anything. So that's definitely that. I don't actually have to answer that. That's good, because it bothers me if I pick one. I don't know why. Spare parts of a hand car, special transport. So I'll add one note that the cars were separated, because that's the kind of stuff that I just forget and then I start doubting what I know. But that's actually something now. So fake train and this one. There. The train never reached Evesham. It disappeared earlier and was faked by somebody using a hand car and spare train parts from Chesterfield station. So I remember being bothered by this a little bit because there's no sort of split neuron or a decision. But now that I'm actually paying attention, it makes sense that because the train was faked because there's so many other reasons. Now we just proved that. We proved that it was possible, and this is clear. And it never reached Evesham, which is the station we were at, so that makes sense. Now, more. Special transport and special wagon. What is this? Was used to carry something very heavy to the lake, right? The vanished train was carrying a special wagon ordered by Mr. Robinson. It could contain something very important. So it contains Doncaster Telegram, Chesterfield Telegram. Which one was it? The train passed through Chesterfield Station despite our being unsure if the station master sent the report. The train never passed through Chesterfield Station. The station master was drunk and his testimony seems unreliable. He could have sent the report without witnessing the train. Now, again, from these two options, this doesn't hold water because he would not have sent the report without witnessing the train. Why would he have done that? He was drunk, so he probably had things to do. He didn't know what time. He didn't know if the train was coming when we were there, so he would not report a train. Now, the problem with that is that anyone could have sent the report because the alphabet was there. So if it did or if it didn't pass through Chesterfield, let me check the map. I want to be absolutely sure about this. So let's assume one thing, that the train will not go back. Oh, and I mean, it could go sideways, and I wouldn't know that because both of these are fucked. as evidence. But if the train went past Chesterfield, then it means that the train disappeared between here, which means that the train is in the lake. If the train never came through here, it went into the mine. So if we can figure out Chesterfield, we could figure out at least where the train is. We don't know the motive. We know it was the Mexicans. So, Chesterfield. What points towards the train going through Chesterfield? What do we have that points towards that? We'll figure these out. The mines were collapsed. Oh, the Chileans stay on the train. I've already done that one. This is the new one, right? Yes. The mines were collapsed to hide the train. Dynamite was used after the train was moved inside. Now, this makes, it could be. The mines were collapsed with dynamite. Somebody wanted to close them intentionally. This is also true. This is more true than this is. Or this is more vague than this is, because these could both be true at the same time. Right, so Chesterfield and somebody stole the rails. So the rails and whether it went through Chesterfield. Old railway to the quarry, flooded quarry. Is this a new one? Yeah. The train could have been sunk in the flooded quarry at Doncaster Station. The train cannot be sunk in the flooded quarry because the old railway that leads there is missing some rails. Now, we already know that they're moving rails around. So it could have been sunk there. Mexicans versus Chileans, special transport, Doncaster Telegram. So I think we're missing some things. I cannot combine these. So we shall head over towards Bridlington because I know that there's something that we're missing there. And once we're done here, then I don't know what we're doing next. And... oh, sorry. Him.
I will not move from it.
Him. No.
Don't touch anything, please.
I won't. So I remember us conning the fat boy over there. But I don't recall how we did it. We might need some more neurons or something, but I don't know what to where to get that from. So let me just look at the map a little bit. So Evesham I think we've covered. We've covered the beach. From there to there with heavy equipment. Oh right, we were supposed to contact use a telegram. Mycroft like ages ago. And why was there a T there?
I asked Mycroft to find out some information on the WEA Coal Company. Here is his reply, and it is an interesting one.
There are two companies, the Chilean Barcazas and the Mexican Caracal. Both wanted to purchase the WEA coal mines. The Mexican Caracal Consortium had established an initial deal and had prepared all the papers. However, the Chilean Barcazas group, aided by their influential connections, managed to snatch the concluding deal for the mines. So they stole some coal, stole a coal mine from the other business. So what is this T right here? Oh, hello.
The insurance policy for Robinson's machine. A significant sum.
There we go. Insurance policy number 256458. Insurance organized by Thomas L. Robinson, TR, was on his ring for his prototype called the Autonomous Electricity Generator. This policy partially covers the loss of the prototype up to 50% of its value. Maximum cover amount, £15,000. Insurance duration 1 year, renewable. So he benefits from this, and let me go talk to him for a moment, because I know that there's more information, because I remember numbers. And I'll explain that in a moment.
According to this document, you have insurance for your prototype.
Oh, thank God. Where did you find it?
Near the telegraph station.
I must have lost it when I tried to send a message, which I was prevented from
I
doing.
apologize for that, but regulations state that public access to the telegraph is strictly prohibited.
Upon my word, you keep on digging that hole of yours. You have no idea who I am.
Actually, I don't know who he is. Is he an important grip sack?
I see that you kept your grip sack with you. Why don't you leave it in the luggage room?
I've had other things to think about. I lost my prototype, and this idiot station master just stands here doing nothing to help.
Oh, but
Well, that won't do at all. Station Master, I believe that the regulations state that any passenger luggage should be taken to the luggage room.
I'll do it right away, sir. Sorry, sir.
This Robinson is quite a character. We should learn more about him.
There we go. Not suspicious at all.
This grip sack belongs to Mr. Robinson.
I think we should open it, Holmes. This is what they call force majeure. I'll keep watch.
Of course.
Another lock. Another day, another lock. Let's try this. Oh, I don't know which one I should focus on again, but I guess I should look at the totality of the lock. Yeah. Although it is not a speed contest. Business papers, right.
Look, Watson. A bundle of contracts. Very suspicious. We should study them carefully.
So this is an exclusive sales contract regarding the prototype invention dedicated to appliance supplying electricity in an autonomous way. Emmetson Electric Company, the buyer, understand that they are purchasing this device as is and are in agreement. Mr. Thomas L. Robinson, the seller, is not responsible for any problems that may arise with the prototype after the purchase, whether or not those issues were known by either party at the time of purchase. The buyer is obligated to make prepayment in amount of 10% of the prototype price in advance upon signing of the contract. The remainder should be transferred within a 1-month term. So, oh, pressing the wrong button. This is an exclusive sales contract, so it's a copy of the other one, except it is Hong Kong General Electric Company, HGEC. Was that one of the abbreviations before? I don't know. Could be. So here the buyer is Chilean company Barcazas, and I can't make that name. Here it is Medicine General Electric Company, Emerson Electric Company, Hong Kong General, Barcazas. So what I was looking for is, were they selling it to both of them? And also, I have to think about this in a really wide spectrum, which sort of annoys me right now because I'm seemingly not good at it, or apparently I'm not good at it. Framing. Now, he's a con man, or because I remember last time I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, why would this guy, if he has a real invention, first off, how could he sell a fake invention as is and people are just buying it, or these big companies are buying it, or at least maybe they're sort of desperate companies, I don't know. But so he was lured out of the train before it disappeared. The only people in there were the Chileans. Now, he could have lured himself out of the train. And he seems like a guy that is not sort of bullshitting right here. I mean, he would have left. But where would he go? Can he get a carriage and just leave? He's rich. He doesn't necessarily need the train. He doesn't need to stay here. If it was like, if he wasn't trying to get the device back, and if this was all planned, he would probably be out of here already, getting his stuff. And like, these deals mean that conveniently the device is now gone, which puts him in the one of the top suspect categories right now, because he is obviously a con man. He's making money out of selling stuff, and it's unclear that like people know who he is, but I think I've gotten the impression that people actually know who he is too. Like it's not just like some fake clout that he's gathered. That people actually do know that he is who he is. But then it makes me think, like, why? Because also he's getting 90% of whatever the total value is. So let's say that he was trying to sell it to different buyers, and then because he was going to get rid of the thing. Him getting 90% and the prototype being real means that he was going to get rid of it anyway. He was going to have to get rid of it, because otherwise all this shit would come out. Right? If I'm not being an idiot here again, then we have sort of at least our second sort of certainty, in a sense. At least so certain that I feel confident. And what was the other certainty? I wrote it down, so we should be fine. Right, oh yeah, some premeditation of that. So he has 90% of the value of the stolen thing. If it was real, if it was fake, then he's fine with 90%. If the device was fake. If the device was real, then he could have just sold it to one company and got the money. So probably he was going to milk it for all he had. So let's assume that the device was real. Because if it's not real, then this sort of leads nowhere except that we can blame him for being a con man and getting rid of, like conveniently getting rid of it. Getting rid of the device, and he's at 90%. Maybe this was all that he could, all the people who he could get to sign for the 10%. So it's like that path sort of leads nowhere to think that it's fake, because then we don't, well, that's not actually logical, because things don't have to make sense, and they don't have to be hints. But so all of these,
Is this an exclusive sales contract?
let's see if he says it again.
Yet another exclusive sales contract. Mr. Robinson is the seller.
Yeah.
Mr. Robin, yet another.
4 of them, and one of them was the Chileans.
Mr. Robinson is
I'll
the
just write
seller.
that down. So another angle is that they were trying to get rid of the device and the mines and the Chileans themselves. So there's a lot going
Yet
on here.
another exclusive sales contract. Well, it is very clear that this Mr. Robinson received prepayments from various people for his machine.
Water's good. So I'm going to leave this here, but obviously we have a lot on our plate, so I'm going to have to digest a lot of things because there's so many angles here. There is I mean, people could be working in cahoots with others, but let's assume for no reason right now that the Mexicans and the Chileans are against each other. It sort of works for both of these guys. It works for him and it works for the Mexicans. It works for him to get rid of his machine, like everything just played out fine for him basically, unless he was actually trying to sell the device. But we know that he's not going to sell the device because he would have to give it to multiple people. And if he has multiple, well, if he has multiple prototypes, then that would also be cool, but it doesn't, we don't have any evidence that he has any more prototypes except for the one. But let me try and talk to him.
I will
No.
not move from here until I receive
Oh,
my refund.
his refund. So that makes me think that this was not planned by him, because he could just leave. He could just be gone, basically. Watson, for fuck's sake. He could just be gone and take his bag, take his deals, take everything. And then, you know, be on his merry way, but he's waiting for a refund for a ticket here. At least that's what he says. I don't see any other reason for him to stay here. So, oh yeah, that one. Let's just do that before calling it a day. Encyclopedias. Newspapers. Immigration on the rise. Hellenistic treasures. Flying lobsters. So it's probably in here. Edison Machine Works, Tesla, Las Zarpas, barge transportation. Oh, Jesus. The Las Zarpas barges are leaders in heavy goods transportation. The Las Zarpas label belongs to the Mexican consortium Caracal, who cover shipping, electricity services, and mining. So they're carrying a building here in the picture. So that would sort of lead me to think that they took the warehouse, they carried the warehouse somewhere. There's no sign of the warehouse. There's no sign of a reason for the warehouse. If it's another distraction that they took the warehouse and the railway goods, then fine. But they have experience with barges. I don't think they would bring a barge from Mexico. They built a barge with the warehouse. That's the only thing that I can sort of think about. They have knowledge of it. They know what they're doing. And
Here it is.
And that's an evidence. That's good. So we'll leave it at that. And next time we'll figure some shit out, because this is getting way out of hand. I'll see you on the next one.